All right, now hang on a second. I think I need to hit my big gulp up here, my Baghdadi big gulp before I start this one. Hold on. All right. Okay, um, so apparently Gibson has done a cease and desist on Trump guitars. I'll be honest with you, before I saw this, I didn't even know there was a Trump guitar. And before we get started with all of this channel will never, ever, ever be political in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I talk about music on here and love the guy or hate the guy. It's always interesting, to say the least, with Trump. Sometimes it could be disturbing depending on point of view, and sometimes it could be blissful depending on your point of view. And I'm not here to talk about that. I don't really care about that. And so we all have our right in this country to have our thoughts the way we have them, and everyone should have them. And that is one thing that I do believe in strongly. Just love each other, and the rest will figure itself out. Okay, now, so, this is quite funny because, I started reading up on some of these guitars, and I started seeing some of the pictures of them, and they're beautiful instruments. I mean, whether or not you like what's on it or not is for you to decide. But regardless, they seem like they're very, very, very well made instruments. And I think it's very interesting that they decided to partner with this guitar luthier to be able to make these guitars. And from what I understand, they partner with these guys. I assume to probably make it a limited run, who knows, whatever. But some of these guitars are going for really a ton of money. I mean, upwards of $12,000 to $15,000 for this Trump guitar. And I think that's interesting. And I sat and started thinking about this because, again, you could debate Trump's business experience or whatever till the cows come home, but he's got lawyers, and there's no way in the world those lawyers did not know of the previous lawsuits of Gibson guitars and then advised him not to do this because it's not going to end well. And I don't think this is going to end well. But it depends on your perspective. I want you to look at this through a different lens. I don't think that guitar manufacturer, what is that guitar manufacturer going to have it? Well, to some degree, he's probably alienating a lot of people because there's a lot of people that just can't handle anybody else with a different opinion than theirs. So, okay, that's a reality. All right. So, but it's probably going to make him an iconic builder because I'm convinced, this is my opinion. I have nothing to base this on other than my opinion, and you can have yours, and I'll be interested to see what yours is down in the comments below. But I think Trump knew darn good and well, him and his legal team knew darn good and well that this was not going to last. I think he's got an agenda here. What it is, it could be simply just to drive up and just keep his name out there, and like him or hate him, he's a master of advertiser or marketer or whatever you want to look at it. He's done a great job of that. Whether or not he gives value or not is up for debate, but he's certainly known for that. And so I think this guitar manufacturer is going to end up coming out a winner over it. I do feel like that they're going to lose this. I think Gibson will likely win this one because it is radically different than what happened with the Gibson and the Dean lawsuit. Dean had been making guitars for decades, the Flying V and the Explorer shape for decades. And all of a sudden, like 40 years later, or some crazy number like that, that's when Gibson decides to actually sue them. Well, Dean punched back, and they basically shut them down, and they can do what they want for now. It's still not completely settled, but it looks like it is to me. And so, and my channel's documented with opinions on that whole process, as well as my strong dislike for the Gibson Guitar Company as human beings who run a company. I think, like anything private equity, they're going to destroy it, and they have been destroyed, and they have quality control issues. But they are certainly very capable of making an outstanding instrument, the word being capable. And the only way to get that capable is to spend, for, let's say $10,000 or more. Then you're going to get a great guitar. And I know I'm exaggerating that somewhat, so I'm not trying to blow that out of proportion. If you're a Gibson lover, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Gibsons hanging on my wall, and I love those guitars. I just don't like the company. Just my 2 cents. But let's set that aside. I think there's 1 or 2 things that are going to happen. I think Trump is probably looking to draw either attention towards that guitar brand just for a moment in time, because it will not last. Now, those guitars are going to go up. If Gibson wins, those guitars are going to go up tremendously in value. they're going to end up on the walls and stuff of billionaires and super millionaires and the ultra rich, because it will become a collector's thing. So that I think is kind of funny, but yet interesting at the same time. I don't know anybody else on the planet who could do that other than this guy, mainly because he's got so many people that hate him and so many people that love him. There's just a lot of drama associated with it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all unfolds at the end of the day. But I think he very well could also be trying to make a point with Gibson, which is a great American company. You've got the likes of Gibson, you've got the likes of Martin, you've got Taylor, you've got Paul Reed Smith. You have all these wonderful manufacturers. There's so many more to name, and I can't possibly think them all off the top of my head. But regardless, you understand my point. And especially like Gibson and Fender, those are iconic guitar manufacturers in America that really take up the lion's share throughout history of the electric guitar as far as total sales and total units produced and sold. So I think there could be a point being made. I don't ever see Fender really kind of taking this strategy. But the bottom line and everything I've said about Gibson, if you've got a problem with another guitar manufacturer making a guitar that looks similar, and I'm even going to say, let's say it's down to the micro millimeter or whatever that stuff is. I don't even know millimeters, but but you get what I'm saying. If it's down to that and it's actually a perfect duplication of it, there's really one simple answer, Gibson. Just make a better quality guitar so nobody considers that. Or better yet, Gibson, did you miss the opportunity here? I understand why you didn't take it, because you don't want to alienate a lot of your users. So I get that you wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, at least today. But I think this is all pretty interesting. So I just kind of wanted to talk about this real quick because I'm actually find this funny. I find it funny. And on top of that, I find it very interesting. And I'm going to be very interested to see how this thing all plays out after it's all said and done. It's going to be for a fun ride. And, let your thoughts and emotions about the whole politics stuff set it to the side. Just come on, get over that, move past it. But at the end of the day, see it for what it is. A very interesting marketing ploy that's going to be played out in public in front of all of us simply because of all the drama associated with Mr. Trump or President Trump or whatever we're going to call him today. Or President-elect, I don't know, man. I'm not a political guy. I try to stay out of those conversations with people. I've got my own thoughts and you've got yours, and you do what you do and I'll do what I do. But anyway, it's very interesting. So now here's this one thing I already know from the moment I started doing this, there were people hammering down in the comments, you're going to turn this into politics. If I see a lot of that stuff, I'm just going to turn comments off. It's just not worth it. I'm going to turn the comments off. Other than that, if you get political on there, don't be surprised if your comment gets deleted, because that's not what this is about. This is about just the interesting subject of a guitar manufacturer versus Gibson and vice versa. And using, obviously, an interesting ploy along the way, considering how recent the whole Dean guitar thing is in the public eye, especially as far as musicians are concerned. And certainly, I'm a huge supporter of Dean. I'm glad they won that. I'm glad they punched back and won so far. And I hope they continue to win, as well as other manufacturers trying to do this. The Gibson Les Paul came out in the 50s. Enough already. Okay, move past it. Somebody else can make it. Gibson, if you don't want somebody doing it, then simply make a better guitar. It really is as simple as that. Really is. If it's compelling, it's compelling. You've already got the name, so you already got the draw. The problem is you got a history of making some garbage in the midst of some fantastic and beautiful, wonderful instruments. So leave the comments down below. Keep it civil. Keep it social. Tell me what your opinion is. I can't wait to start reading them. I think it's going to be interesting. But until next time, I hope every one of you have a great day. Bye-bye. My dogs are barking outside. The neighbors, they got dogs. And they're going, woof, 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 woof. And just like, I got this little purse dog. It's my wife's dog, little purse dog. That thing is vicious when it gets out there. But then a little baby inside. And you don't say, Barry, I don't care. That move on. Okay, you're right. Bye-bye.